Greeting. On behalf of our team, thank you for joining us. Today, we will present our analysis of Apple Inc.'s company narrative as part of our role as corporate communication interns. Our presentation is organized into 5 main parts, which are Apple corporate narrative, focusing on what the company says about itself, challenges. Are there any challenges to that story? Thirdly, key issue or opportunity in which we will focus on where there is a disconnect between the internal and external narrative. Fourth, we will focus on stakeholder analysis. We will identifying at least 3 key stakeholders impacted by or who can impacted this issue. Lastly, we will focus on a communication objective in which we will propose on how Apple can bridge the gap between this narrative. In this first section, I will focus on Apple's own narrative. So Apple is working to design and sell premium technology products such as iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, and its growing range of digital services include iCloud and Apple Music. By convincing consumers that Apple deliver innovative, high quality, and seamlessly integrated experience that enrich their life and set the company apart in the market. This positioning frame Apple not only as a technology manufacturer, but also as a lifestyle brand. Through professional marketing and carefully crafted advertising campaign, Apple positioned its innovation not merely as tool, but as essential that supported creativity, productivity, and self-expression. Iconic campaigns such as Think Different emphasize Apple association with innovation and visionary thinking, while a more recent initiative like Shot on iPhone showcase everyday people using Apple device to create beautiful and personal content. This campaign reinforced Apple's narrative of empowering users and sparking creativity. However, by doing so, Apple strengthened the sense that its products are not just device, but trusted companion that integrate seamlessly into people's work, entertainment, and lifestyle. This narrative aimed to make consumers feel more connected to the brand, to view Apple product as indispensable part of their everyday life, and to reaffirm Apple's reputation as their premier innovator in consumer technology.
For challenges in Apple's story, even though Apple is one of the most successful companies in the world, it still faces many challenges. Today, I will explain 6 main challenges that Apple deal with. For this part, we also separate into 2 big parts: our market innovation challenges and global and legal challenges. So, in the market and innovation challenges, have high price, strong competition, and innovation pressure. The first challenge is high prices. Apple products are much more expensive than competitors, which make them less affordable for students and for people in developing countries. This limits Apple growth in places like India and Southeast Asia. Next is strong competition. Rivals such as Samsung, Huawei, and Google often lead in areas like artificial intelligence and company and camera technologies. For example, in 2024, Apple lost market share in China as Huawei and Vivo gained ground. Next is innovation pressures. Customers expect that Apple to release groundbreaking product every year, but many analysts say that iPhone feel like small upgrade rather than major breakthrough. This raises doubt about Apple's ability to remain the innovation leaders. So for the next slide, is talk about the global and legal challenges. So for the global and legal challenges, Also separate into three parts are supply chain issues, environmental and ethical concerns, regulation, and lawsuit. So the fourth challenges is supply chain issues. This company depend heavily on factory in China, which make it viable to political tension, labor strike, and even like COVID-19. In 2022, production at the largest plant dropped sharply, delaying that iPhone shipment during the holiday season. Next, environmental and ethical concerns. Apple has been criticized for e-waste, environmental mining, and poor working conditions in supplier factory. Many NGOs accuse that its sustainability efforts still fall and short. Finally, is regulation and lawsuit. Government in the US and Europe accuse that Apple of tightly controlling in-app store and changing high fee to developers. Legal battle could force Apple to change its business models and cutting into the profit.
So let's move on and talk about the key issue and problem that Apple company is facing nowadays, like how balance in innovative and sustainabilities. We all know that Apple is good at a cutting edge technologies and their stunning design, but they has faced a lot of issue and problems such as like customer expectation, regulatory pressure, innovative costs, and brand reputation. So the first one is customer expectation. Apple customer is increasingly educated with regard to the company's sustainable practice. Today, customers are more aware of the environmental issue ever than before. They prioritize sustainability and expect companies like Apple to take responsibilities for their impact on the planet. This means that Apple need to focus on not just creating innovative products, but it's also they need to ensure that the products are eco-friendly. Next is regulatory pressure. Apple themselves has confirmed to the demand of the government, which are redefining the rules about e-waste, emission carbons, and recycling primary products. Apples must adapt to the supply chain and manufacturing process that need to meet the regulation while it's still maintaining its reputation in a high quality innovative products. Next is innovation costs. Developing sustainable technologies can be expensive, from time consuming to more. Apple will need to be focusing, investing in research and development to create an eco-friendly alternative without sacrificing products' performance or significantly raising the price of the products. Next is brand reputation. Apple has built a strong identity around innovation and premium qualities. If this company doesn't affect the address sustainability, it risks damaging its reputation and facing backlash from consumers who are increasingly concerned about the environment. The next slide is about opportunity. Despite all these challenges, there's an opportunity which Apple can be capitalized, which is uh, leading to the edge for technologies and sustainabilities. Apple can invest in green technologies and improve products lifestyle management and advocacy on their circular economy, and the rest of the sector on a different plane. This is not only satisfies the customer, but it's also build a bond which will develop a new sustainability for a customer that is coming into the company as a new customer base. Overall, while balancing innovation with sustainability is complex, it's represent Apple with a unique opportunity to strengthen its leadership in technologies industry. The landscape of customer expectation is evolving rapidly, and the company that embrace sustainabilities are not just meeting a demand, they are setting themselves apart in a crowded market. Apple has always prided itself on being a leader of technologies, and now it has a chance to lead in environmental standard as well. So while the path toward balancing innovation with sustainability is challenging, it's also filled with potential. Embracing this commitment in innovation and Environmental responsibility will not only ensure Apple's success in the coming up years, but also contribute to the healthier planet for our future generation.
So, about the three of stakeholders are customers, employees, shareholders, or investors. First, we pinpoint who the stakeholders are. These are groups that are faced or are affected by Apple decision. Key stakeholders of Apple include customers, as I mentioned above, people who buy and use Apple products like iPhone, Macs, and services, and employees, engineers, designers, retail staff, and others who work at Apple. Investor or shareholder, individual and institution that invest money and expect return. And about the other notable shareholders include suppliers, governments, and community. But for the clarity and focus, we will concentrate on the three main groups above. So let's moving on to the next slide. Next, we explore what each stakeholder group cares about. Customer want high quality, secure, easy to use products, and expect privacy and environmental responsibility. Employees seek fair compensations, career growth, safe working conditions, and meaningful, innovative work. Investors are focused on strong financial uh, performance, sustainable governance, and continued growth. Now, we assess how much influence each stakeholder holds over Apple's. Customers are extremely powerful if dissatisfied. They can easily switch to competitor brands, impacting Apple's revenue and market reputation. Employees will significant influence because they are the creators of Apple innovation and operation. Discontent can hamper productivity and innovation. Investors control the financial stability of the company. If they lose confidence, they can push for strategic change, or leadership shift. Finally, Apple must develop strategies to maintain positive relationship with each group. Customers, Apple emphasize privacy, security, environmental initiative, and product quality to maintain loyalty and trust. Employees, Apple provides competitive pay, training, flexible workplace policies, and handles workplace concerns. Though challenges remain. For example, employees activism like Apple 2 shows there is room for improvement. Investor, Apple maintains robust financials, clear governance, and sustainability efforts, balancing immediate profits with long-term improvement. So to so overall, for step one is stakeholders, identify customers, employees, investor. For step two, understanding their needs, privacies, fair treatment, and profitability. And step three, recognizing their influence, customers, loyalty, employee innovation, investor control. And step four, managing relationship appropriately. Apple invests in trust, workforce well-being, and financial and ethical stability.
So moving on to the gap in communications. So Apple has two stories. Internally, Apple thinks of itself as an innovation, creativity, privacy, and sustainability leader. So for the externally, there is a different view from some criticism over extremely high price, limited repair abilities, and also labor issues. So the two perspectives create a gap in communication. It left unaddressed. Apple risks losing trust from customer, employments, and also shareholders. So moving on to the communication objective. So our objective is simple. We want to unify Apple's story to one strong and consistent message. So we would like to all stakeholders to see Apple as innovative, responsible to bridge the gap. Apple should be transparent, provide honest updates about sustainability, labor practice, also highlight long-term values, show that higher price relate to qualities, securities, and also durabilities. So connect with stakeholders, use simple messages that are consistent across report. so advertisement and also communication to employees. So this will allow Apple's innovation story to connect directly to its stories of responsibilities. So the net results stronger trust, improved reputation, and one message for all. So in conclusion, our communication outreach here is about alignment, letting Apple story to be one story, not two. So this is all our reference. So that's all about our presentation. Thank you so much.